Hello and welcome to Hexed Encountered. My name is Joe. Today I'm going to be doing a preview look of the game Stargate Timekeepers. And it's based on an event that was held by Slitherine this week, which marked the 26th anniversary of the first episode of the Stargate SG-1 television series. So the event, which was a Slitherine Next event, was basically a reveal about the details on the upcoming game that I just mentioned, Stargate Timekeepers. So this is a real-time tactics game where you lead a team of specialists through a story-driven campaign that features an original narrative set in the same Stargate universe as Stargate SG-1. This will be a new team that, and the narrative will take them behind enemy lines where they can utilize their unique skills to plan and execute various missions, which will unravel a time loop mystery, sorry about that, and defeat the threat. So the first reveal for this particular game actually happened back in mid-December 2021, so that's a while ago, about 18 months. And the original release date was supposed to be in 2022. Obviously, we are now in 2023, and it's been about 18 months since that first reveal. So the good news is, during that time, the development teams made some significant progress, enough progress, in fact, that they were able to, have this gameplay reveal event on July 27th. And basically, give the big news that the game is now entering beta, and you can actually sign up to participate in the beta by visiting the Slitherine website at slitherine.com/beta, where you can sign up for that. And I'll post the link in the video description. Although the game is set in the same universe as the Stargate SG-1 series, it doesn't continue the story where the television series left off. Instead, it features an entirely new and original storyline that branches off from the events that took place in the final episode of Season 7. And this game will have 14 episodes, and they'll be split into basically 2 seasons, is what they're calling it. It's a very narrative-based game, and it's deeply rooted in the whole Stargate mythos and universe. It begins during the Battle of Antarctica, which, as I mentioned, took place in the season finale of Season 7 of the television series. And this one, the new team is headed by Ava McCain, and her team in the first episode of the game, which takes place concurrently with that, season finale of Season 7, they work with SG-1 against Anubis's fleet. And this serves as the lead-in to the main story of the game, where Ava and her team will be the focal point, and they'll be conducting a mission to basically support the Jaffa resistance, where they'll be taking on Malak's army and attempting to cement an alliance with the Unas. So the game is going to contain a mix of both old and new enemies, and Ava's team itself is comprised of various characters with unique abilities that you'll need to utilize effectively to succeed in their various missions as you progress through the game. As far as the design of the game, it's very similar to other real-time tactic games like, say, Desperados or Commandos, games like that, which have like the kind of isometric look. Although this one you can kind of zoom in a lot, move the camera around and things like that. So the Slitherine Next event revealed an entire playthrough of the second episode, which follows the Battle of Antarctica, and it's called The Resistance. And Ava's team's mission really begins here. They go through the gate, and the objective is to escort a convoy of supplies to the Resistance. So, like I mentioned, you're going to have to use various stealth tactics to complete the mission. And this mission, which will be true, I'm guessing, for virtually every single mission, has various branches that you can choose that offer up a lot of replayability, because you can choose to do one thing one time and do something else the next time you play it through. The gameplay footage depicts part of this episode where you'll be managing Ava and Ata, who's a member of the Jaffa Resistance and one of the 5 other team members that will be able to be part of Ava's team as the game progresses. So your job in this particular mission is going to be to clear a path through Malak's defenses to enable the convoy to get through. And as I mentioned with the team, the game's going to gradually add the number of members you can bring on a mission. So you'll start with 2 for the first couple missions, then it'll be increased to 3, 4, 5, etc. And this also will be something where you'll get, again, replayability, because you can try different members of the team per mission to get, different mix of abilities and so on, which gives you, as I mentioned, replayability, because, with different character combinations and various strategies and tactics, etc. So Ava and Ata will be employing in this playthrough. Ava and Ata employ tactics that are both stealthy and sometimes not so much stealthy. Ava has your more traditional soldier abilities. She's an automatic weapons expert, etc. While Ata, she has a magic staff that carries an electrical charge that she can use to knock out several enemies at once. And in this particular mission, you'll have the option, and this is probably true throughout the game, you'll have the option to basically employ non-lethal, stun and constrain strategies, or you can just be lethal and kill the enemy as well, of course. The various situations you'll encounter will require various tools and tactics, and some of the situations are more puzzle-like, where you might have to think a little bit harder and maybe try different approaches before you get it. And there'll always be multiple ways to accomplish your goals, whether that's using lethal methods or non-lethal methods. So the mission starts out with kind of an overview, and it's laid out in this gameplay video for Ava by Ata, in which Ata describes that there are 2 paths they can use to get the convoy to its destination. Both are going to require subduing or eliminating guards. And you'll be able to, as mentioned, use different tactics and tools to do this. And so the example showed only Ava and Ata, but there are other members of the team, as I mentioned. There's a sniper whose name is Max, a spy named Sam, a tech named Derek. There's also Ata and Zuga, I think is how it's pronounced, which I think the last one, he comes in later on in the game. And so you'll have a variety of enemies as well, and some of those will require more advanced weaponry and tactics. On some of them, for example, Ata's Madak will not work, and you'll have to come up with something else to, they can't be shocked. They're not susceptible to an electric shock attack. You'll have to come up with something else to take them out. So one of the things that's probably a familiar real-time tactics kind of mechanic is the vision cones of your enemies, and you can see those by clicking on an enemy, and it'll show you what they can see. Obviously, you can kind of lay low in cover and watch their patrol path, see how they interlock with other members with other enemy forces, I guess, and work out a strategy where you can basically take them on in a way that's advantageous. It's going to maintain your stealth and also take out the enemy so that you can continue past them as you work your way through the path to get to the ultimate goal. And you have some diversionary tactics in your tool belt as well. You can toss, like Ava can toss a bullet casing that'll catch the attention of a guard, that'll move his eyes and allow the other team members or Ava herself to move from one piece of cover to another or to attack, etc. You can also use a lure to move an enemy, attract them. That's one that Ata does in the gameplay example. And then that allows her to take down 2 enemies because she brings the second enemy into range where the first enemy already is, where she can use her Madak to take both of those out. So she can use her staff to basically take out 2 enemies at the same time. So Ava also has a stun grenade, and she uses that to take out multiple guards. So you could have a situation where maybe you have 3 guards and they're spread out enough that you can't really take them out together easily with, say, a staff attack, but they're also close enough together where their vision is going to cover each other, and if you take one out, the other members will see it, and then you're revealed and you have real combat on your hands. So you can use a stun grenade, or Ava has a stun grenade ability that she can add. The thing with a grenade, of course, is that it makes noise, and there are other enemy guards around, so you will have to make a pinpoint, very precise attack, because the game will show you what your area of effect and also, how loud it'll be, so that you can try to do it in a way that will, your AoE will knock out the people you're trying to knock out without alerting anybody else about what you're doing. So these are just various tools that'll be in your tool belt as you work your way through the various missions. Obviously, there's a lot more to the game than what I've shown here. But because the beta is now open, you'll actually have the opportunity to sign up and play some of this stuff yourself. The first 7 games, the first season, the first 7 episodes are in the beta. So you basically get to play the first half of the game. And obviously it's still a beta, so you all the caveats that apply to beta will apply here. You can only you're going to experience bugs and so on and so forth. That's the point of a beta, is to help the development team find bugs. You get more eyes and more users on a piece of software. They find ways to break it that maybe the developers didn't foresee. As someone who works in software, I am well aware of this phenomenon, and it is very common. So it's always good to have multiple sets of users with varying degrees of expertise or knowledge or whatever it is to run your software through its paces, so that you end up with an end product that's actually relatively bug-free. Hardly any software actually releases that is completely bug-free. I'm sure it happens some, but the more complex it is, the more likely you are to still have some bugs when it hits release. Anyway, that will do it for this quick preview. I just wanted to kind of show this game. Slitherine does videos pretty much every day. So if you are interested in digital war games and digital strategy games and so on, they have a Discord channel where they show all their stuff. You can sign up and get notified and, go watch these videos. They are in Europe, so most of their stuff happens, midday for people like me who are in the United States. Morning to midday, basically. But depending on where you are in the world, and obviously you can always watch them after the fact. The gameplay event, the Slitherine Next event that I referenced in this video, is actually up on the Slitherine website. And if you go to the Stargate Timekeepers page, you can watch the whole event. It runs a little over an hour, and it has more gameplay in it than what I have. And it also has people who are on the team that's building the game talking about the game, and they do some Q&A at the end, and there's a lot of good information in there that I'm not going to be able to cover in my 10 or 15 minutes or however long this ends up being. So, as I mentioned, that's going to do it for this preview look. I appreciate you guys taking time to check it out. And as always, feel free to comment. Let me know what you think. If you would be so kind as to like, share, and or subscribe, that would be even better. I will do something else with this game as it continues to move through the beta process and ultimately into a release. So look for more on this and other games, both digital and tabletop, covering war games, sports games, and the occasional, as this one is, a strategy game. But yeah, that's going to do it. This has been Hexed Encountered. My name's Joe. Thank you for watching, and until next time, happy gaming.